Today I'm going to give you 3 easy tips you can do right now to improve your piano playing. These are easy to implement even for beginners, but I find that they're often forgot about from students and teachers alike. So you don't want to miss out today. Let's get right on to the lesson. Okay, step 1 that I have for you is pay more attention to dynamics. This one's pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how many students completely ignore dynamics. They think that it's just all notes to play, but that obviously clearly isn't the case. So if you look at a piece of piano music, there's obviously the P's, the F's, piano, forte, pianissimo, fortissimo. Even if you're adding these into your music already, they are commonly forgotten about, and you can always do a better job at implementing these. One thing I kind of recommend is after you've been learning a song for a couple of weeks, you want to check out a recording of it to kind of get some other ideas on how a professional, changes dynamics in each section. You don't want to constantly steal ideas from other people, but listening to a recording is a good idea in terms of the little dynamic changes that go on. So just looking through here, today we're going to be talking about the Pathetique Sonata. Movement 2 is our example for all of these. So if I play it just at one dynamic level, just playing the notes, it sounds pretty clunky, right? It doesn't sound really like a piece of music. It sounds okay chord-wise and everything, but if I'm adding in the dynamics and paying really close attention to them, see how much nicer that was? So you want to go through your entire pieces and really pick out the dynamics, especially things like crescendos, decrescendos, sforzandos, where you're really hitting a note and then backing off right away. The more detail that you can add into the song, you can kind of think about it like looking through a glass into something. The clearer the glass is, the clearer you'll see the image. But if you kind of just have the dynamics and everything half put together, it's going to look fuzzy and it's going to sound fuzzy in terms of music. So, adding in these dynamics and being really careful will help add a lot of clarity to your playing. Let's go on to step number 2. Okay, step number 2 is relax your muscles. This one is really forgotten about by many because a lot of teachers don't even talk about it. But when you sit at the piano, you want to have good posture. You want to have like a solid, core going on to where you're sitting up straight. You don't want to be sitting up so straight that your muscles are really wearing out to keep you up straight, but you want to sit up straight. But, a lot of people think that when you're sitting up straight, you have to tense up your muscles. And so what a lot of people do, let me see if I can show you better this way. So what a lot of people do is they tense up their muscles, and their muscles are like this. And a lot of people actually, when they're nervous in public, do this, and they're not even aware of it. I know I do it sometimes. They're real tense up here, and that is disastrous when you are playing piano. You want to have good posture up and down, but you want to have your shoulders down to the side and relaxed. You also want your elbows relaxed as well. And you don't want to be, if you're tensing up and you're playing like a raptor, that dinosaur, then you are playing wrong. Or like a T-Rex, I think would be more accurate. You want to have your arms looser and to the side. Let's get the whole thing in here. And you want your hands gently resting on the keys. Being relaxed, towards the upper part of your body while still having good posture really allows you to play up and down the piano a lot more fluidly. It just makes it so much easier to get a good sound. By relaxing the rest of your body. So when you're playing, what I want you to do as kind of a practice assignment is when you're playing your regular pieces this week, either look into a mirror or just become cognizant, aware of how tense your body is. A lot of people, I'm telling you, won't even be thinking about how tense their shoulders are and their arms are. You don't want your arms in tight. You want them, relaxed into your sides. And like I said, you'll be able to play up and down the piano, and you'll also be able to play a lot more expressively. Let's get on to step number 3. Okay, number 3, by far the most important and by far the most forgotten about, is to play out that melody. The melody is the feature part of the song, right? So you don't want your chords in your left hand to be overpowering, or wherever they may be, to be overpowering the melody. That defeats the purpose of a song. When we're playing music, we are really remembering the melody out of anything. Because think of Jingle Bells or Fur Elise or anything. Da 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 da. Well, that's the melody, right? Most of us don't remember the part da 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 da. It's just not something you would hum in your head. It's an important part of the song, but by far the melody is the feature. So what I call singing it out just means that you need to balance your hands better and play out the melody better. Here, I'm going to play this first line of this piece, but I'm going to sing out the melody, and you'll see how much better it sounds than if I don't. Let me not do it first. I'll just play the first 2 measures. I'm going to play them all the same. And sure, it sounds okay. But now I'm going to sing out the melody. So you can see already it's a subtle difference, but it's also a big difference. I mean, when you hear that, you can really hear the top notes. Out of the whole thing, which is the whole point, right? You want the melody to be featured and not anything else. Okay, I'm going to do another example playing out the melody. This part of the piece actually exemplifies what I was talking about even a lot better. So if I'm playing this, and playing all the notes the same volume, it sounds okay like I talked about. But if I really sing out the melody, and also pay attention to the dynamics, of course. Okay, so as you can see that by singing out the melody, it really brings life and character to the piece. It's something really easy to implement into a piece, but it does take some time. I'm not going to lie to you, it takes some time to really get used to playing one hand slightly louder than the other, especially if the melody changes hands like it kind of does right here. I wanted to bring that out more, so I'm changing from more balance to my right hand to more balance to my left hand. Okay, we have Barbara. Kirby, I think the finger numbers are seen more in piano lesson music. That is true. So I didn't get to that question by Buttery Kirby about the fingering, but that is true. Sometimes they do have the fingering written in. Oftentimes they also don't. I find with classical music that half the times they have the fingering in, half the times they don't. I suppose the honorable mention here could be, like a number 4 on the list, is improve your fingering. If you are totally neglecting your fingering, you're doing yourself and you're playing a great service. In fact, now that I think about it, probably should have been on the list for tonight, but I'm adding it in here right now. So if there's a 4th thing on this list, I would say pay more attention to your fingering on the piano. Yes, any tips on how to keep my hands from locking up while playing at high speeds? I'm going to have to make a lesson just on this, but let me give you a couple of tidbits. The main thing I can tell you actually that will kind of solve this problem is that most likely if you try to play something slow and then immediately and you're not used to it, your hands will tend to tense up, and also you won't have the technical ability to play whatever you're doing to go from slow speed to Mach 3, the fastest you possibly can. So what I recommend is, first of all, be cognizant and aware of how tense you are while you're playing, but you want to play slowly. And then what you want to do is gradually increase your tempo over time. So play it, maybe 10 times at a slow speed. And then, like, once you're able to do that, play it, slightly faster and play that, maybe 10 times. And then, bump up the tempo a little bit. You can use a metronome, it's a great tool for this. And then if you slowly increase your tempo from slower to faster rather than just jumping to faster, and then also being aware of how tense you are, that should help alleviate that problem, because a lot of times when you try to jump into the faster tempo right away, your brain will kind of be like, oh, what's going on? And so you'll lock up your muscles and you'll tense up because you're really just trying to keep up with what's happening. So if you slowly progress into it, that will help a lot. So that's what I recommend for that issue. Okay, if you like today's lesson, you like the steps that I gave you here, and you're looking to really brush up on the topics we talked about, whether it be dynamics or how to, sit at the piano or singing out the melody and things like that, check out the playlist I made of lessons just for this lesson, specifically for you who have gotten to the end of this lesson and you're looking to brush up on these topics. So I'm going to have that in the description. I'm also going to have it pop up here as one of the end screens there, so you can find it, and then you can figure out what to watch next after you're done this lesson. So this has been Tim from Lessons on the Web. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll talk to you all in the next lesson. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.